Top of the morning to you. Well, I'm going to open this vid with an apology because I didn't manage to get out last weekend and do any adventurous acts, no pan-Asian travel. And that was mainly due to I come a cropper a couple of weeks back when I was traveling back from site. As I mentioned before, I was working in Zayaburi up in the north, and I was driving back in the car on the wonderful Highway 13, which is carpet bombed at the moment with potholes from the big trucks, etc. And my front end went into a rather cavernous pothole and bounced back out again. And with that action, it threw me headlong into the roof of the truck, and concertina had all my neck up. I kind of waited for it to get better, but it didn't. It was getting worse, and I was getting a bit dizzy and stuff like that. So I spent all week this week at the COPE Centre in Vientiane, which is a rehabilitation and physiotherapy unit, getting various pulls and pushes and twists. So that's about all I've been doing. I haven't got out and about. So I thought, just to give you something, I'll give you an idea on the cost of treatment. None of this was private. This was all walk-in medical coverage. I've done 5 days of treatment now, basically 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, Monday to Friday. I also went after treatment at Cope Centre yesterday, Friday. I also went to New Life Hospital in Vientiane. I wanted to have a scan, an MRI scan, and I found out that they actually have a CAT scanner and an MRI scanner. So I went down there yesterday afternoon, just to walk in. So just to go through people that are tuning in, or friends of mine from UK, or friends of mine anywhere in the world, who may or may not be thinking of coming to live abroad, whether it's Southeast Asia, but particularly in this case, Laos. I'm just going to give you a rundown of the costs if you were to be in country and you required medical attention. Now, this can be through an insurance, or it can just be paid cash. You don't need to be insured. I've paid cash this week because there's too much fiddling with any insurance, just because it's such a small amount. So Monday, I walked into the COPE Centre. I had a doctor's consultancy within 10 minutes. Doctor's consultancy, he had a good look and a bit of a poke and a chat with me, and then he sent me off for an x-ray. Straight in for the x-ray, no waiting. I was done in 10 minutes, and that was actually having the x-ray taken and then sitting and waiting while the staff brought the x-rays out and hung them outside to dry, typically loud. And then they give me my x-rays, and off I went back to the doctor, who had a quick look, and he said I needed 7 days therapy. So back to reception. That they looked on the computer where the doctor had already given his diagnosis and treatment plan. I then had to pay 120,000 kip for the doctor's consultancy and for the x-ray. Then before I moved from reception over to the therapy unit, I had to pay another 140,000 for medication, which was muscle relaxants, anti-inflammatories, and vitamin B, which, looking on the internet, are obviously all connected in the healing process. That was 140,000 kip for that medication. Physio consists of around about an hour's worth of heat therapy. It's pretty intense. I've been before, and you'll normally have 15 minutes of therapy, each type of therapy, but this was pretty intense. And as I say, it was supposed to go on for 7 days. They start with heat therapy and electrotherapy, where they put the pads on your muscles. Faradism, it used to be called in my days of rugby injuries. Then deep tissue massage, which is not pleasant. It's not like going down to your massage parlor and getting foo-fooed up with a nice bit of aromatherapy oil. Yeah, deep tissue massage, that's another hour. And then usually after lunch, sometimes the massage is after lunch, sometimes you can squeeze it in before. But after lunch, you go into traction, which is 2 sessions of traction, 15 minutes of traction, 45 minutes rest, and then back on the table again, where they stretch your neck, basically, put you on the rack and stretch your neck. That is 105,000 kip per session. You're supplied with massage liniment, which is red hot. I think it's capsicum liniment, and rubber gloves down at the pharmacy as well by the reception. And that's 15,000 kip for the massage oil and for the gloves, which they probably give you enough for 2 or 3 sessions. So you might need to buy that twice in a week. I've got a drawer full of it at home, so I was taking my own in. And then yesterday, Friday, the 5th day, the lady asked me how I was doing, how it was fixing when she was giving me the massage. I said, it's about 95% good. I've got mobility back in it. I can, move it back and forth. It's still a bit stiff, but I think that's all the poking and prodding, to be honest. It's kind of muscular stiffness. There's no more grinding and popping in me neck bones. And she said, okay, then tomorrow don't come, bummer, which was great. And then yesterday afternoon, after the traction, I went down to New Life Hospital, which for those of you in VNTN, if you ever need to use it, is opposite the Kolau Tower buildings where the PDR office is. It's the top of ASEAN on that junction there. So I walked in, no appointment. I told the bursar and the receptionist my issues. They asked me, had the doctor sent me with any instructions? And I just said, no, I want a scan for peace of mind. If there's any bruising, if there's any bleeding, etc. I'd like to know. Plus, I've had x-rays, and if you could possibly scan my neck, just to make sure there aren't any hairline fractures or anything like that didn't show up on the x-ray. So, yeah, they took me in. They did the vital stats, doctor's consultancy. Doctor spoke perfect English. I explained to him everything that had happened, and he said, right, off you go for an MRI scan on your brain and on your cervicular spine, which is your neck. The doctor's consultancy and the vital stats work was 80,000 kip. The MRI, brain scan, and cervical scan was 1.5 million kip. I went in for the scan. I had to wait maybe 20 minutes. And then I was on the table, head in a cage, told to relax. I thought he said it's going to be about 5 minutes. Say, stay still for 5 minutes, I thought he said. And he actually said 25 minutes. Because after being in there 10 minutes, I was getting a bit sweaty. My breathing's lifting. It's very claustrophobic, and I suffer a bit from claustrophobia. Yeah, the old sweaty palms and everything. And I'm trying to think of everything wonderful, holidays with the family and things like that, just to keep calm. But that anxiety was rising and rising. And in the end, I just shouted, hello, hello, Ogbai, get me out. And a guy come running in, and he got me off there. And I just sat on the floor, head between my knees. I was gone, man. I was gone. I had a big panic attack. So it took me a few minutes to come round. I didn't really know whether they would have enough information because it wasn't even halfway through the scan. The guy took me back to reception, and the bursar explained that there wasn't enough for a scan, so there's no need to come back later and get me results. And he then said, because you pay up front, he then said, I'll give you your money back. And I thought, wow, a percentage of it, or they give me the full 1.5 million plus the 80,000. 1,580,000 kit returned. And off I went, feeling a little bit embarrassed without any scan results. But yeah, so both of those treatments were walk-in, fantastic treatment. And the total price was 1,960,000 kip. Now that's for 5 days of therapy and physio, and also that included the scan, the MRI scan. I was refunded that money, but had I completed been brave enough to complete the MRI scan, you're talking $88 for a week's treatment. And some people think, oh, I couldn't go living abroad. It cost me a fortune if I get sick. There are other options. There are international hospitals. These weren't international hospitals, but the treatment that they afford you is fantastic. You can go a step above that and go to the international hospitals. We have recently had a Thai hospital built in Laos that is supposedly on par with the international hospitals in Thailand. If you go down that route, it's going to cost you. Those hospitals, in my opinion, are put in place for those people with insurance policies, health insurance. I did go in there one time and I had to have a scan when I had some issues with my ticker. And I remember sitting in the waiting room, and they have special offers boards and things all around the waiting room. And there was a scan for 12 million kip, something like that off the top of my head. When I went for my scan then, I had to sign that I was going to pay for it. And, I was going to pay and then claim back off my insurance. And it was 22 million kip. And I said, whoa, I said, you're advertising for 12 million kip in the waiting room. And I just got this big smile and I was told, yes, but you have an insurance policy. So they double down on the insurance companies just to make money. But you do have that option, or you can go across to Thailand. But just using Lao, you can't get all of the treatment for everything. If I had a bad accident, road accident, and broke a leg or something like that, shattered my leg, I would certainly go over to Thailand, because you can be confident that you've got all the treatment covered over there. Whereas in Laos, you've got bits and bobs. You can be covered pretty much in Laos, but you can get over the bridge, no problem, into Udon Thani, which is only an hour away from Vientiane. So, unfortunately, I couldn't give you any adventurous videos this week, but there's a little bit of inside info on what it would cost to have medical treatment in Southeast Asia, particularly Laos. So I'm on the mend. I should be out and about this week, hopefully, and I can give you something more than just me sitting in the brand new BNF Asia office. Do you like it? If you do, like and subscribe. Catch you next time. Take it easy.